Welcome to a demonstration of example 4, where we'll be translating a program from the line detector playground into a flowchart. So let's take a look first at the example 4 program. We have a robot that is at point A. Our note says, this program was designed for a robot placed at point D. The program changes the robot's behavior at the colors green, red, and blue. Let's therefore start by moving our robot to point D, and let's take a look. What is going to happen at each of these colors? I see when we start, our velocity is going to get a little bit slower. We're at 25%, and we're going to repeat a lot of code until we detect blue. So as long as we don't detect blue, we will keep repeating. Once our down eye camera sees blue on the floor, then we exit our C block, break out of that repeat loop, and we stop driving. Okay. Oh, so the first time we get to the blue, we should stop driving, and that will stop our project. Okay, good to know. Now, meanwhile, until we see blue, we are repeating this. We have an if, else statement. We have 3 conditions, basically. If we detect red, then we're going to stop, pause for a second, and then go forward a short distance. If we detect green, then we're going to turn right for 360 degrees. How much is that? Let's see what the program does. After our turn, we're going to drive forward. Or else, that means if we are not on red and we're not on green, we're going to drive forward. Okay. Okay, so let's see what our robot does. We're at green. Oh, this is that 360 degree turn. We got to red and we paused. We're at green, we do another turn. We're at blue and we stop. So that covers our different conditions. Blue was a stop, red was a pause, green was a full circle turn. That was kind of interesting. So if I wanted to make this into a flowchart, how do I go about it? I can tell already I'm going to have a diamond for this. It's interesting. The sensor kind of looks like a diamond, doesn't it? So I'm going to have a diamond for do we detect blue, a diamond for do we detect red, a diamond for do we detect green, and I guess this is what happens if we're on a no. We don't detect green and we didn't detect red, and we drive forward. So let's try that. We're going to start with a begin, or when started. I'll put that in here. Begin, also known as when started. And I believe the first thing we did was set the velocity to 25%. Okay, and then I believe we had a diamond, right? That was where we checked, does the down eye camera detect blue? And this diamond has to be a bit bigger, right? Okay, so if the answer is yes, what do? If it's blue, then we stop driving and we stop the project. Okay, let's get I always am drawn to choosing one of these shapes, but it's quicker to just click over here. So let me stop driving. And then Oh, whoops. I need an oval, don't I? And the program. I can bring those over here. And this was a yes. Yes, the down eye camera detects blue, then I stop driving. But what if it's a no? If we have a no, then I think we're checking another condition, right? If it's a no, then we're checking, well, do we detect red? If we do, we're going to stop and pause and then go forward. So we have another diamond here. Actually, maybe I should just copy this, right? And just change blue to red. Does the down eye camera detect red? That was a no. Okay. So if it does detect red, then we said we would stop driving. These are two separate code blocks, but I'm going to put them together. Pause for 1 second. And then we said we would then drive forward for a specific distance, right? 50 millimeters. We stopped and waited. Now we're going for 50 millimeters. Drive forward for 50 millimeters. And then what do? Then we exit the if then block because we found our one condition that's true. We're exiting and we have to go back up here, right, and repeat. So we have to go check up here again. Do we detect blue? We'll get another arrow here. That's not what I need. I need one of these arrows. Come all the way back up there. I can't decide if I like the way draw.io handles the arrows, but if you're working on paper, you're probably doing this a bit faster. So this was a, oh, this is not labeled. Okay, never mind. So we're going to drive forward, and then we're going to check again. Do we detect blue? If we do, we'll stop. If not, we'll check for red. If there is no red, that's when we check for green, right? And by the way, I just realized this needs a label here. This should say yes. And this one should say no. So if we detect green, what are we going to do? If we detect green, then we turn right 360, drive forward 100 millimeters. So it's kind of like this. We'll have two rectangles. Why don't we just, can we copy all of that? Duplicate. Bring it right over here. Right. So if we detect green, we're going to turn right 360 degrees. And then drive forward for 100 millimeters. And then we need another arrow. can basically just connect back to that other looping arrow because we're following the same path. We're going to go back and check if we detect blue here. So if we do detect green, we do all of that. But if not, then we're going to be in this final condition that kind of catches everything else. We're not blue, we're not red, we're not green, therefore we just plain old drive forward. So we can actually grab one of these. Drive forward and get one last arrow. We're going to loop back, kind of like we did after the green or after the red. And we would go back and check all of those conditions over again until we ultimately do detect blue and we stop driving and end the program. So this would be our whole flowchart for example 4. We have 3 conditions to check. We keep looping until we detect blue. Oh, I forgot to label this one. So hopefully that is helpful. Make sure that you label your arrows when you are exiting a rhombus or a question or a decision. Make sure that the decision is a question that has a question mark. Make sure you begin and end are in ovals, not rectangles. And that's about it. If you've done this, then you have reached the most complicated example of our activity. Congratulations.